Dude, are you drunk?
Maybe.
Welcome to the Booz and Broz podcast, where hosts Matt Lytle and Chris Califf discuss everything paranormal, cryptic, horror, true crime, and of course, booze. So grab your favorite beverage and come have a drink with the Booz and Broz.
What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining episode 4 of the Booz and Broz podcast. I am one of your hosts, Matt Lytle, along with my co-host,
Chris Califf.
That was the best you have said your name yet.
I'm glad that you get to dictate how great I say my own name. Thank you for that. It's like a
I'm
meter
not
we have
dictating
going
it.
now.
I'm not dictating it. I'm just judging it. And that was the best you've done.
You judgmental prick. That's just not. Nothing will ever beat the Amazon thing. If you look at our show, Ghost Loop on Amazon, one of the reviews, this gets me every time, and it makes me so proud to be who I am. It says on Amazon, under the heading of our show, I literally want to choke that Califf guy out. The rest of the team is fake and make shit up. But like the fact that I got called out by names from the jump, this dude wants to choke me out, I'm like, oh, honey, that's cute. Like
Wow.
you could try. You could try.
Wow.
But like that, I love it.
I've seen that one. And like he said, we all fake, like, let's just get this out of the way. We're going to have a whole podcast about Ghost Loop and what we experienced with the paranormal. I will tell you guys this right now. So will he. That show was edited a certain way, shot a certain way to entertain people, but every single piece of evidence that the spirit hunters caught was legit and very real. And that's what it is. The truth is out. It was real. So sorry for everyone who thinks we fake stuff and all that, but it was real. Sorry.
It's funny when you think about like the idea of like reviews and how people hate stuff, because it brings up one of the most incredible things I've ever found in my life. And I mean, I'm wearing the merch, you're wearing the merch.
Mm-hmm.
John Carpenter's Halloween. You talk about the idea when something first comes out and people not knowing what to do with it. Just like Ghost Loop, there's no better example than the 78 Halloween. Because
I
that
didn't
movie
even
first
put
came
that
out.
together. I didn't even put that together. That's a really good point. For those of you who don't know Ghost Loop, I mean, that's exactly right. We were such a different paranormal show that a lot of people just were like, I love it, but I hate it. But what do I think of it? But I love it. That's how Halloween was. That's how John Carpenter's Halloween was. But here's the thing, before we get into it, as everyone knows, we drink during this podcast. Let's introduce our drinks before we get into talking about the legendary Halloween. I would like for you to go first.
You know, spent a lot of time looking through Michael Myers and Halloween-inspired drinks in the tradition of getting white girl wasted on this podcast, because that's kind of a thing that I do. The one that I picked was the Hallowteeny, because if I'm going to get white girl wasted, this is the route I'm going. It's 1.5 ounces of vodka. It's a splash of orange juice, or 1 ounce, depending on what you want to do. And then 1 ounce of butterscotch schnapps. It's a white girl delight.
Butterscotch schnapps. Okay, can we see it at least?
It looks like pee.
Interesting. It looks like a very dehydrated piss.
It looks like if you were to put more pineapple into your good and evil, this is what would happen to it.
Pretty much. No, it doesn't look bad. It looks like lemonade.
Don't you diss my Halloween-teeny, okay?
No, Halloween-teeny.
That sounds like Michael Myers has a small wiener, and I don't like that. Like, he's got big dick energy. Like, that dude's like swinging. Yeah.
Yeah,
Halloween-y,
no way. Teeny Halloween. Yeah, that, you know what? That's so true. It does sound like Mikey has a small pecker.
That's not how this shit goes. You don't ever.
That's not how this goes.
Let
me make up for it. Let me make up for it with my drink. Let's do this. So, I have a different drink, but it does relate to Halloween. It's called the Michael Myers, plain and simple. I'm a big coffee fan.
Are we talking Austin Powers Michael Myers or Michael Myers Michael Myers?
We are talking the killing machine Michael Myers, the shape. But we can also behave if you want to.
Oh, God, don't ever do that again.
I'm
For
so
the love
sorry.
of
That was really bad.
everything.
You know, I can actually do a British accent pretty well, but I'm so
Prove it.
focused on wanting.
Prove it.
No.
Actually wasn't too bad. Harry
Maybe I
Potter.
should
Try it
take a
again.
British accent. That was more Australian, but whatever, mate. Sometimes I fluctuate between British and Australian, but I'm
That
working
was
on it.
actually really good, man. Like, that was impressive. Bravo.
Thank you. We'll have a whole podcast about it. I'm kidding. So in this mug, which says it's never too early for Halloween, I have pumpkin spice coffee. In this shot glass, I have bourbon. There that goes.
Actually,
But
heard
the
this last,
fun,
that was weird.
the fun, did you hear it?
Yeah, listen. Let's see what you
That's
pour the
great.
next
So
one in. Be very-
So everybody
I-
listening can hear me pouring the drink. So I'm making the drink in front of you guys.
It sounds sloppy, wet, and gross, and I'm not a fan. Like, it's just,
Well,
listen.
all right, ready? Rum chata, by the way. This is a cup of rum chata. This is 0.85 ounces, so I'm going to do about a cup and a half.
The 12-year-old in me is dying right now.
Oh, yeah. So it's supposed to be 4 ounces of pumpkin spice coffee, 1 ounce of bourbon, Jameson, whatever you want to use. I'm using Bullet. And then 1 ounce of rum chata. But I did put a little bit more liquor in it.
That is the biggest goddamn spoon I have ever seen.
It's not a spoon. It's a mixer, man. God, you need to get behind a bar.
I'm uncivilized. You know this.
So my drink is done and ready to go. I'm so excited for this. I love coffee too. And this sounds delicious and look delicious. So my brother, episode 4, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm going to get white girl fucked up on this. Like, hands down.
Okay, this is going to be another holy shit Booze and Broz moment. Because I think you and I will get the most drunk on this episode.
That's a very high possibility.
So for those of you guys listening or watching who have not seen the Halloween franchise, there are definitely going to be some spoilers. So I suggest you pause it right now and you go watch some of the Halloween movies. If you have seen several of the movies, or if not all of them, then you guys will definitely enjoy this. And we definitely want to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section on YouTube, or, you know, message us on Instagram, whatever it is, because we want to know what you guys think about what we talk about as well. I want to start out, brother, by talking about the 1978 classic, John Carpenter's Halloween, man. I mean, when was the first time you saw that movie, and when was the first time you really fell in love with it?
I was but a wee young man. I mean, you have to remember, I remember when H2O was what got me into the Halloween franchise, right? That was the first one I had saw. So that was
H2O came out in 1998. So that was H20 H2O stands for the 20-year anniversary of the first Halloween. That's why it's called H2O. Yep. So continue.
So that was the first one I had seen. I remember there's a scene in that particular movie where the Shape and Jamie Lee Curtis meet at a door, and they're both on opposite sides of the door. There's just a window there, and it's one of the worst masks, called the Winston mask from H2O, that they used for that particular cut. However, that image of Mikey in that white faceless mask looking at Jamie Lee Curtis with just not a care, and then that tilt of the head, I was hooked. I was terrified, but I was hooked.
Well, you also got to give Jamie Lee Curtis credit in that shot too. The look of complete and utter holy shit, he's actually back. Like, think about it, guys. Your worst nightmare that you've ever had in your life is real, has come true. That's what Jamie Lee Curtis so subtly showed in that scene, and the shot was amazing. I just watched H2O yesterday, actually, and yeah, fun story too. Before we get back into your thoughts,
I knew you were going to bring it up. I knew it.
Yes. So Chris and I were on the road this time last year, filming Ghost Loop season 1, and there was a night. This was October, so it was about a year ago. There was a night where him and I were like, let's drink and let's watch a Halloween movie, and we looked at each other. We're like, we're kind of in the mood for H2O. So we watched H2O, sipped on some beer and probably some more, and it was one of the most memorable nights that I had filming Ghost Loop, man. It was great. So I'll always look at Halloween H2O from that point of view.
I mean, Mikey came and tried to murder us on rap night. We wrapped Ghost Loop on Halloween. And sure as shit, as we're at the rap party, Michael Myers
walked
Andre
up
Myers,
to our group.
The Shape walks up to our group.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why you and I met. You and I share the same passion for Michael Myers, for the Halloween franchise. Obviously, that's why we're doing this podcast. But it's just a coincidence, I guess, that night was Halloween night. We wrapped. Michael Myers came out to us. What were we doing? We were drinking. So yeah,
Shocking.
But shocking. So you watched H2O. That was the first one. That's surprising.
Yeah, and from there, you start looking into it, right? And you're like, okay, what is this? And it leads you up back to 78. And the thing about 78, the first time I watched it, I must have been like 11, 12 years old. It was the lack of blood and the suspense that really captivated me, because you didn't know when he was going to show up. I mean, he truly was just a shape, and you didn't know what he was doing it for or why he was doing it, but he was a monster, and he was out there playing with his food before he attacked.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and the mask, John Carpenter could have easily have been like, we're going to have a serial killer, just kill babysitters, and we'll see how it does. John Carpenter said, let's have him have a mask. Well, the thing is, John Carpenter's production designer was also a producer, was also the editor, was a lot of positions on Halloween, the first Halloween. And he took William Shatner, Captain Kirk mask from the 70s, Halloween mask for kids to have on and be Captain Kirk. Took that mask, widened the eyes, painted the whole thing white, and shaved the eyebrows. All he did, and it became Michael Myers.
Are you drunk already? Shave the eyebrows?
Excuse me, the sideburns. The sideburns.
Tease the hair back.
Yeah, tease the hair back. Yeah. So he did, and think about it, Chris. That's so minute. You know what I mean? It's not like he completely changed the mask around, painted it every color, widened some eyes, shaved some stuff, put the hair back, boom. They would have never guessed that Mikey's mask would be 20,000 times more famous than the original mask that they chose. John Carpenter's idea was great to put the mask on him. I think.
Well, as we're discussing the mask, I'm going to kind of jump around for a second. What installment of the Halloween franchise has your favorite mask?
Number one is amazing. I mean, number one is classic. Number one is the one everybody sees everywhere. So that would be my favorite. I loved the 2018 mask as well. Very old, very good. Thrown in the dirt, very, very much the mask got older as Michael Myers did, as Laurie Strode did. You know what I mean? And they did such a good job. Of course, they didn't actually have the original mask from the original movie and let it sit on the ground for 40 years. They had a new mask, but the production designer did so well making that mask look like it aged just like the characters. Very, very well done. What about you?
78 is great. The Halloween 2 mask is essentially the same one. Still, I think it looks a lot better in the second because it has aged a little bit. 18 is great.
What's your least favorite?
4. That narrow ass one from 4.
I think 5's worse. I think 5's worse.
The bubbleheady one? Is it 4 or 5 that has the really narrow, like neck kind of pointed fucking mask?
I think that's 5.
Yeah.
I think that's 5. Yeah.
That's right, because 4
where like the hair is like way up here and like really like overly done, slicked back.
Super
and like,
Saiyan
really
status.
Pointy.
Yeah, that one.
It's 5.
Fuck that one.
So we agree on that too.
The Resurrection mask was garbage.
We agree that our favorites are 1, 2 in 2018, and then our least is 5.
No, actually, my favorite, I'm going to get crucified for, as all Halloween fans should.
Rob Zombies. I knew you were going to say that.
I fucking love zombies. Like that mask. I'm not talking about the decayed version. The decayed version was awesome. But when it's first shown, when it's first shown in 1, where it's white, and he puts it on the first one, there's just something about that. That's the closest to the original I've seen. And it's just something about that mask that I just loved. So I'm going to say Zombies Halloween mask is probably my favorite.
Besides the 78 or better than the 78?
Nothing's better than 78.
Okay, good.
I mean, nothing's better than 78.
We literally have the same image on our clothes right now. If you guys are listening, you can also watch our podcast on YouTube. Literally just look up Booze and Bros, and here we are, episode 4. So 78, the original movie, John Carpenter made at 29 years old, co-written by Deborah Hill, which was his girlfriend at the time, who was also that age. So much respect, man. I know how it is being a filmmaker, especially being in our 20s, and how hard it is to make it. But man, he worked and worked and worked, and he got his big break, and he made a movie for $325,000. Guys, that is not a big budget. Even in 1978, $325,000 was not a big budget at all. It was basically an independent movie budget, which is a very, very much lower budget than you see these days in the movie theaters. The thing about the first movie, and as you know, Chris, the first time it came out, it wasn't loved right away because it didn't have, it bombed. It didn't have people
the studio.
People didn't think it was scary.
Yeah, but the studio even went back to him when they first submitted the cut to the studio, and this goes into that iconic score for Halloween that John Carpenter himself did.
Yep.
They gave the movie to the studio, and they were like, "This is garbage. This isn't scary." So they brought the movie back. Carpenter scored the entire thing by himself. And that music that he did, as simple as it is, added so much suspense into what he was trying to build that it became, like I said, the Halloween theme, it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing, the Halloween theme.
Right. And a lot of people say that, it re-released in a few months later after it came out, and with the score, and everybody was like, wow. And it went from this isn't that scary to like, holy crap. So not saying his score saved the movie, but it had a lot to do with it becoming huge. I love it, man. The first time I saw the 1978 film, I was very little. I remember, I always think of the cover with the pumpkin, with the jack-o'-lantern head and the butcher knife. I always think of a certain spot where I'm from in a neighborhood that I used to go to a lot. And I remember, I don't know if that's where I saw it. It's so blurry because I was so young, but I remember just that movie case in that house, in that neighborhood. And every time I see that case of Halloween 1978, I think of that neighborhood. I was very young. I was terrified because it was a scary movie. It was labeled as a classic horror movie. So I expected to be terrified. And no matter what happened, even when Tommy Doyle got pushed down and broke his pumpkin, I was still like, oh my God, because, it was a scary movie. And I didn't see it for a while. I didn't see it till I was probably like a teenager, probably like 16, 17. And once I saw it then, I was like, wow, this is classic. This is like you just said, man, it's not bloody. It's not like a cliche horror movie from, the 80s where it's like gory, or from the 2000s where it's like Paranormal Activity or Blair Witch or whatever. It was just so different and unique as it is. And for me, that's why it hangs as one of the top, if not the top horror movie of all time. What do you think? Like, what are your overall, so you saw it when you were young. So how was your progression of just falling in love with Halloween?
Well, first things first, that Halloween Toonie was garbage.
You got to have another one though. No Tito's yet.
Because you see, White Girls Beware, we're at that part of the show. We're at that part of the show, my friend.
Are we?
Where, in fact, Tito's shall be poured.
Oh my, okay, that shot glass makes up for every single thing I just said to you. I'm so sorry. For those of you listening, he just poured a Tito shot into a badass Michael Myers shot glass.
One that you can find at Spirit Halloween stores for $1.99. This episode is brought to you by Spirit Halloween. Number one for all Halloween sales.
There's times where you should shut
up. Well, at this point, it's like, can we just get a sponsor? Like, come on. We've talked about Tito's every single fucking episode, and Tito's is still not returning my phone calls. They're not calling me back. I've been on national TV. Some bitch, I've been on national TV. Call me back. Call me back, Tito's.
Maybe John Carpenter will see this, and maybe we'll get a sponsor from old Johnny.
The best thing about Carpenter, when Zombies Halloween came out, Zombie talked a bunch of shit about how cold Carpenter was. Carpenter straight up calls him like an asshole. He's like, that guy's a fucking dick. I wasn't even rude to him at all. And he was supposed to go run his mouth. Like, fuck him. I was like,
yeah.
John
Well,
Carpenter.
that's the
you're a great
thing.
human.
That's the thing. Their relationship started out great because obviously Zombie went to Carpenter and was like, hey, man, I'm remaking your movie. Like, how do you want me to do it? Kind of thing. You know, obviously Zombie was going to put his own twist on it. We're talking about the 2007 Halloween, guys. If you haven't seen that, it's completely different than the first one. So Zombie did say, you know, I'm going to show a little bit more of Mikey's backstory when he was a kid, give him more of a reason why he was who he was.
That first act was garbage. You have something that's supposed to be all evil, right? Something that's supposed to be, in essence, what is Mikey?
Pure evil.
And then you bring him up in a broken home. You give him a childhood, unlike what 78 did, which was just the scene from behind the mask. Zombie made you root for Mikey. I'll give him credit on that, because for the first 2 acts, everybody Mikey kills are literally assholes. Oh, fun fact. When Mikey kills his sister, what was Mikey's older sister's name?
Judith.
Very good. Now, Judith Myers is played by who in Rob Zombie's Halloween?
The older sister in the Zombie movie. Man.
Judith. In Zombie's movie, she was in one of the most famous movies of all time. Literally has probably the most famous line of all time.
I'm going to say I don't know this.
Jenny from Forrest Gump. Little Jenny. Run, Forrest, run.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, so all you fucking pervs out there be like, this chick is super hot and plays Judith Myers. That was little Jenny from Forrest Gump. Fun fact.
Oh my gosh, dude. What a fact. Really good fact to know, man. I didn't even know that.
Another fun fact. Laurie Strode had a really close friend in the 2007 remake played by a woman by the name of Danielle Harris.
We're going to say, we already know that. Who doesn't follow Danielle Harris? Come on.
I want to take 1 second to profess my undying love. I'm sorry. My undying love for Danielle Harris. My heart is yours. Sorry. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, she was the only one that was from the original Halloweens to come and play a role in the Zombies. Is that correct? Or is there anyone else? I think she's the only one from the original ones.
I think she's the only one.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question again. So maybe you understand this. The fucking white horse in Zombies' second installment of the Halloween franchise.
Okay, I don't know the exact history of the white horse. I know it has to do with something with a sacrifice, and then it has to do with family being together.
The only white horse or pale horse I'm aware of is in Revelations. I heard one of the 4 BC saying, come and see, and so I saw, and behold, a pale horse. His rider's name was Death, and hell followed him. It's one of the 4 fucking horsemen.
I would assume that's, I don't know, man. I truly think that was just to get Zombie's wife into the movie again.
Yeah.
Obviously, she was Mikey's mother in the first one, and she blew her head off because she felt guilty for Michael killing everyone. Yeah. Okay, so let's just talk more about our judgment towards these movies. The first one we love. It's classic. Second one, they obviously went the bloodier route. The second one was made in 1981. A lot of the reasons why they went bloodier is because of another very famous slasher franchise that we will not get into, which is Jason.
Copycat. Big guy, mask, killing people.
Yeah, silent. Yeah. But Jason, it did so well. And all of these slasher movies were getting very bloody, and that's what teenagers and young people loved. So Halloween said, all right. The Halloween franchise said, all right, we'll make this, but we got to make it bloody. So, of course, the kills, instead of choking someone and stabbing them, it was slitting their throat and having blood go everywhere. You know, what was that? The nurse guy who slipped on that chick's blood. Remember, she had the needle in her arm, wasn't attached to anything, and he was like, oh, my gosh. And then he tried to walk out, and he slipped on the blood. That was pretty funny, to be honest. It had some very comedic.
It's the iconic stab in the back.
Yeah.
And the lift up and the feet shaking, and then the claw just going.
Yeah. My favorite kill in the second movie, the 1981, was the hot tub. The chick changing, and then it's completely, and of course, as a filmmaker, I love the shot. It's out of focus in the background, and you just see Michael just killing this guy, literally. And you're like, oh my God, this is so awesome. Yeah, that's my favorite kill, the hot tub scene.
Favorite kill, Halloween 2. It would have to be that one from behind. Just that stab in the back, lifting her up.
That's classic.
Incredible.
But yeah, so let's skip over Season of the Witch. Season of the Witch, which was great. What do you think about number 4? Let's do 4 and 5 kind of together.
Well,
What are your
4,
thoughts?
I think 4 sequel-wise is the best. Introductory Danielle Harris. And she did incredible as a kid. I mean, The Mask was shit, but
Yeah.
The Return of Michael Myers was I think the story was there. Did they rush production? Did they beat up the script? Did they kind of, do a lot of shit they should have? Yeah. But I think the story was there, and that's what captivated me. 5 was a complete shit show.
Why is that?
I mean, you have Danielle Harris being mute the whole time. Not just that telekinesis with Mikey, and now you're doing into the introductory of the whole fucking cult thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's and that's where I think it went south as well. I'm gonna start at 4 real quick. I used to watch Halloween 4 a lot because it was it still is on AMC like all the time in October. So, growing up in middle school and high school, I would literally always have that on Halloween 4 and 5, but specifically 4. So just because of nostalgic terms, I love 4. I think the actress who played Rachel did very, very well. I think Danielle Harris was good. Obviously, she's 9 at the time, so some of her lines came off like a kid would. But I think the blonde chick, don't remember her name, the sheriff's daughter, she was a smoke show. Do not blame Brady for hooking up with her, but
Wow.
Yeah, I think 4 is great. But yeah, on to 5, man. I mean, the ending of 4, Michael got shot 37 times by shotguns and rifles and still
Tupac
survived.
has nothing on Mikey.
Tupac has nothing on Mikey. No. But yeah, man, the 5th one was just, again, I watched it a lot. So for nostalgia, I like it. But they killed Rachel off within like the first 25 minutes. I hated that. I think I think her acting performance was better. Little Danielle Harris, but they made her mute, and like you said, it was going into where I think they went wrong with the whole storyline, which was the cult, which was, again, Mikey is somewhat of a supernatural being.
What was the name of the cult?
I can't remember, to be honest with you. I know it was Thorn, right?
That was the cult. Yeah, the Curse of Thorn, or what the fuck ever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, Curse of Thorn. So it was Thorn. Yeah, thanks to Paul Rudd.
Ant-Man at it again.
Ant-Man at it again. That was Paul Rudd's basically first feature film movie or feature film role.
What, 6?
Yeah. Yep. He was like 23. I mean, he was super young. And it's funny because Paul Rudd is very comical. I mean, he's got charisma, swagger. I love Paul Rudd. I mean, he's amazing at everything he does. But I mean, seeing him as like a weird, like creepy obsession, like he's still obsessed with Michael Myers and stuff, kind of like Laurie Strode is in the very new one. He's like obsessed with Mikey and figuring out him, and he ends up finding Jamie's baby. I don't know, it just, the curse was cursed as a movie. Yeah. Man, it just, I still watch it. I watch it all the time because it's a Halloween movie and I love it. But as a film critic, it's one of the worst of the franchise. But what'd you think? Yeah, what'd you think of just the beginning of it? I don't know, man. I don't really have much good to say about Curse of Michael Myers.
There's nothing really good you can say. I mean, they tried. I'll give them that. Like that's the participation trophy they'll get. You tried. Outside of that, you fucking failed. Like hardcore. And it's funny because I think my hat is a Curse of Michael Myers hat.
Oh my gosh, it is.
So
it's still a badass hat. I don't care what anybody says.
After the curse, we have H2O, which we already discussed earlier in the podcast.
I love H2O. It was great.
What pissed me off is then you go from H2O to Resurrection. Okay.
Well, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Here we are, everybody.
Peel back all the bullshit. Yeah. Tito's is kicking my ass right now. I'm good. Pull back all the bullshit from Resurrection and the plot line. reality TV show on Halloween night in the old Myers house. On paper, that sounds fucking rad, right? You unleash Mikey, let him kill everybody.
Especially for the year 2002.
Right. The only thing that was missing was Limp Bizkit. Like, that's it. But instead of Limp Bizkit, they got Busta Rhymes.
They got busted.
Now, I might be dating myself to the point where I remember when Busta Rhymes was actually like kind of a star, if you will. And that son of a bitch. Somehow that son of a bitch, who, yes, can rap quickly, karate kicks my boy Mikey. And then proceeds to whoop his ass in a fashion not seen in any of the 7 movies previous to. How does that work?
It doesn't. And that's why that movie failed.
Busta Rhymes is kryptonite to Michael Myers.
The concept was great. It was the year 2002, MTV and all of that jazz. Busta Rhymes was huge at the time. Tyra Banks was huge at the time. Gorgeous, gorgeous woman. Not a bad actress. They got her. It just didn't work. And after Resurrection were the Rob Zombie movies. The problem with especially the second movie of Rob Zombie's is they made him a mommy's boy like Jason. And a lot of people hated that. He was a mommy's boy.
That and the motherfucker. Oh, sorry. I'm about to get really offended right now. I'm about to get super pissed right now. I'm going to get deep.
Go for it.
So deep,
Go
put
for
your
it.
ass to sleep. He talked. Mikey talked. The one thing he doesn't do, he yells, die, and then crushes Loomis's fucking head. And then what the fuck do they do to fucking Loomis? Donald Pleasance makes 6 movies out of trying to stop him. And Zombie fucking destroys the Loomis legacy in a movie? It takes him 1 movie to destroy Loomis entirely.
I think, to be honest with you, in the second movie of Rob Zombie, I literally think Zombie was sitting behind the monitor at Video Village saying, you know what? Fuck it. Let's kill Loomis. I don't think that was in the original script, man. I really think Rob Zombie's like, fuck it. Let's just do it. You know what I mean? Because he planned to do one more Halloween 3D, which never came to fruition because of obvious reasons for those of you know who have watched the zombie movies and know about the background of it. I think he just said, screw it. Let's kill him. Because Loomis, like we talked about earlier in episode 2, I believe, is the main character besides Mikey and besides Laurie. Why would you kill him in the second movie? What are you going to get, another doctor? People fall in love with it. Like, it just didn't make sense.
And then it's funny you said, because that brings us into 18.
Okay.
Because they got
the new doctor.
They got fucking Wario to play the new Loomis.
Literally Wario.
Yeah, I was not happy about that. But the fact that Curtis says in that movie that she references, so what, you're the new Loomis? Like, the fact that they referenced that, I think was fucking incredible.
Yeah, of course.
That's a lot of homage to pay to fucking Loomis, because that was rad.
Yeah, and of course you're talking about
killed that role.
Donald Pleasance, yes. Donald Pleasance, obviously you know probably, but for those of you listening, Donald Pleasance was not the first choice to play Dr. Loomis. You knew who was? A very famous man at the time who did a lot of great roles. Rest in peace. Christopher Lee was the first choice to play Dr. Loomis. His schedule conflicts. Lee didn't love the script, didn't think it'd really go anywhere. Donald Pleasance was, I think he was the third. I forget who the second one was, another big name. But he was the third choice by John Carpenter, read for the role. John Carpenter said, you're amazing, let's do it. Donald Pleasance, I personally think one of the reasons he was so damn good at being Dr. Loomis is because Donald Pleasance was in World War II. He was captured by Germans, 50 Germans. He parachuted out of a plane, landed, looked up, and literally saw 50 Germans rushing at him with all guns ablazing. He said, put his hands up, dropped to his knees, they captured him. And he said that was pure evil to him. And I think he channeled that experience of being captured by Germans and being held, I don't know how long he was held for, but for a while. I think that is what he channeled as an actor to Mikey. He'll always go down as Dr. Loomis, even though he was in, the James Bond film and everything like that. I love Donald Pleasance, man. Rest in peace. He passed away right before Curse of Michael Myers came out, which I don't think he would have loved being his last Halloween movie.
For that. Yeah. Thank the gods that he did like that.
Yeah.
That'd be bad.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
Loomis was down to do like 400 films. Like he was like, I'll do this till the end. I'll chase him till the end, essentially. And that's the thing about the idea of this Halloween franchise. And clearly we haven't like given you guys a timeline of the movies or discussed, any of that stuff. The idea that this one character, this one guy in a blue jumpsuit and a white mask can inspire a conversation for however the hell long we've been talking to this point and actually get conviction and passion and legitimate thought out of two people. That shows you something. A fictional character can literally motivate people. I mean, I've got a tattooed on my arm. You're wearing the hoodie. I'm wearing the hat. I mean, the shot glass right here, but
this has been near and dear to you and I. This is one of the reasons why you and I became so close. Obviously, ghost hunting and being on our show together, but like
the first thing we talked about when we started texting after the whole ghost thing got signed, who's your favorite killer? What's your favorite slasher? And you and I really clicked on that idea that Mikey was like that pinnacle in the horror franchise.
That will always be part of our brotherhood is these Halloween movies. And the fact that 2018 happened and there's two more.
The thing that I'm going to say about that, 18 happened. And that was incredible. 18 happened. That was great. This year was supposed to be Halloween Kills. 2020 didn't burn down my state or give us COVID and that type of stuff. All these bad things, whatever. It took Mikey from us. 2020, it took Mikey.
We're going to end it on that. Bye. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, man. We're going to end it like that.
Matt's going to go cry now.
Yeah, what'd you think of the Halloween Kills teaser trailer? That was literally 33 seconds.
Rock hard. Fucking rock hard.
So if you guys haven't seen the trailer, it's 33 seconds, and it literally, the movie, just like 1978 to the 1981, Halloween 1 to Halloween 2, it takes place literally seconds after the first one ends.
Which makes you wonder if they're going to do it in a hospital again.
I don't think it takes place in a hospital. I hope not. Because I don't want it to be a remake of the first two. I mean,
but that was the cool. You go back to Zombies second edition, and the first, sequence in that the second movie for Rob Zombie's installment was in a hospital, paying homage to the original H2. Which, if you look up the Halloween franchise, it is so messed up. It would take us a full other podcast just to explain the timeline from 78 to now.
To wrap this up, my brother. First off, I just want to comment on how I'm feeling. Holy shit. I'm definitely tipsy. This isn't acting. This isn't me being over dramatic, man. Bro, this whiskey whooped my ass. Dude, all these rum chata little cup fuckers are gone, dude.
What the fuck is rum chata? Like, what the fuck is rum chata? All right, guys. So I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into Booz and Broz podcast.
For Boys to Men. Thank you for listening to Boys to Men. So we are pouring our last drinks. I just made a third one. Probably not smart.
Hey, Matt. Here at Booz and Broz. Here at Booz and Broz, it's now last call.
It's last call at Booz and Broz. We have been talking about the Halloween franchise, which we both are obsessed with. I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. I'm going to ask Chris one last question. I'm going to answer it as well. Guys, pour yourself a last drink listening and watching, and I want to know the answer from you guys as well in the comments. Chris.
Yes, sir.
Including the Rob Zombie movies, what is your favorite to least favorite of the Halloween franchise?
My favorite has got to be 78, followed by 18. Those two are probably the best fucking films in the entire franchise. 6 and Resurrection would be my least favorites. There's one scene, though, I want to preface in Resurrection that I thought was cool. when Mikey's walking through the psych ward and one of the inmates is talking about like serial killers and their stats, and Mikey walks by him and he basically reads off 6 movies worth of stats about Mikey as Mikey walks by. And then at the very end, Mikey hands him the blade. Like that was the one cool part about Resurrection, in my opinion.
At the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
Sealed it at that.
That's definitely my favorite part of that movie. I would say for me, my 1, 2, and 3, my top 3 are 78, 2018, and then Halloween 2. I really enjoyed Halloween 2. I think them turning it into kind of a blood fest was a cool idea, to be honest with you, especially because it was in one location, which was a hospital. So that's 1, 2, and 3. I got Rob Zombie's Halloween, the first one. I got that probably in my top 5. I love how bloody that is. I love how just nasty and gory that is. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the backstory, but it was a new twist. I think Tyler Mane being huge, it was terrifying.
If they took that first act out, that childhood act out,
it would be great.
It would be an updated remake of
Scout Taylor Compton, as well.
She's great. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Danielle Harris was great. You know, everybody in that movie was fantastic. The problem was when you take something that's pure evil, you take something that has no backstory, that you cannot have a reason to do what they do, and then you try to force feed a fucking reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That to me, you're negating the purpose of what you're trying to create here. And Zombie, like you said, I think Zombie just was like, fuck it, let's collect a paycheck.
For the second one, yeah. I would have to say my very least favorite is Rob Zombie's second movie. That's my least favorite.
I did like how they, like I said, in 2, I have to give it a little bit of ups. The first scene, the homage to the hotel scene, the hospital scene, that was fucking incredible. That was fucking great.
That's the only part that I really like about it. I mean, it wasn't god awful. Like, I'd watch it again, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, what I would like to watch. I think as a pure film standpoint, I think I think Resurrection's probably the worst. But as a pure I'd like to watch, I would turn on, like, Curse of Michael Myers before I would turn on the second Rob Zombie film.
I would watch Resurrection before Zombies 2.
So would I.
But I think 6 would be the last one I'd go to. I think 6 would be the last Mikey one I'd go to. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of the overall view of these films too, from the audience is obviously the number 1, 2, the 2018 one are usually the fan favorites. And then, you get the Zombies and you get the Curse and Resurrection are kind of the least favorite. 4 and 5 are in the middle because they're not awful, but they're also not great.
4 was great for what it was worth. What was put out there, 4 was great for what it was worth. Now, I'm going to ask you one last question. It's closing time here at Booz and Broz. Closing time here at Booz and Broz. I'm going to ask Matt one last question, and we'll go from here as far as this podcast is concerned. So, closing time, Booz and Broz. Let me know right now your absolute favorite kill. What film and what was the kill? And why?
You can answer before me because I might take a second to answer this.
Yeah, they will be what's her fuck's boyfriend in 1. Tacks him against the wall. Steps back. Does the turn. And admires his fucking work. In that same vein, I have to give Zombie credit because this dude was hanging with a fucking pumpkin in Zombie's first film. Mikey pushes it and almost like interacts and has fun
like
for
this.
A second.
Yeah.
And I thought those 2 kills, because of the Shape's reaction, were fucking incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best kills in general, I completely agree, are the ones that Mikey reacts to him. Because, he kills people and walks away and doesn't give 2 shits. Honestly, this isn't my favorite. Because, I'm going to have to agree. The classic kill of stabbing someone or, in the 4th movie, the hot girl that I like, the blonde, the one where he shoves a shotgun in her and she's hanging on the wall. The ones where the people are hanging on the wall are always classic and the favorites. But here's one that you probably wouldn't think of. Halloween 2018. Remember when that lady is on the phone and she's saying, "Oh my gosh, okay, yeah, I'll lock all my doors." And she's literally closing her blinds and is like looking around, and he grabs her by the head and just shoves the knife in her throat. That is low key such a brutal, amazing kill.
However, the best kill in that movie, in my opinion, is the light sequence scene. With the little fat kid with curly hair and the devil horns. Light goes off.
Oh, yeah.
There's Mikey.
Oh, yeah.
That, by far, to me, is the best kill in that fucking movie.
All in all, this is a longer podcast, but it's also because we are in love with these movies and we have so much to say about them. And it's October. We got to talk about Mikey. Bro, this is the most drunk I've gotten on the Booze and Bros podcast.
I am pretty lit, and I got to say, I feel bad that you have to edit this shit show that was a podcast, but I'm excited to see the final product. And I'm glad to be able to talk about the one thing that got me my best friend. I mean, because of this, age 40, we went down there, chilled, did that thing. And that's kind of what brought us together. That was a camaraderie piece that brought us together. So fucking cheers to Mikey for bringing this bromance, if you will, to life.
Age 40 was just a great experience with you, man. And like, you know, that was the first time we met a few years ago, and we got to literally experience the Michael Myers world together the second day we knew each other. And, you know, that definitely bonded us for the rest of eternity. And so thank you, Michael Myers, for doing what you do. Thank you, John Carpenter, and all the rest of the directors, producers, for making these movies. David Gordon Green, we got to shout him out. He's the director of the new movies and the writer. Danny McBride, same thing.
Thank you, one, to Daniel Harris, because my heart. Anyway,
I'm a scout guy, but yeah.
Yeah. Number 2, John Carpenter. If ever someday you stumble upon this video to watch these two dudes talking about your masterpiece, your film, thank you for everything you brought to, 1, the cinematic universe, and 2, for the thing you gave us that we love, that we can sit here and talk about, dissect, and talk about so passionately, and something that means everything to who we are. John Carpenter, if you ever see this, thank you.
And we will see you guys next week on the Booze and Bros podcast. Cheers.
We're out.